we will be watching the men's canoe single final coming up at 12:10, followed by the women's K1 final at the Australian Open, which is part of the Sydney International Whitewater Festival. So great racing so far, and through to the final. In the men's C1 competition, we have 7 countries. We have Croatia, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Australia, Italy, Slovenia, and France. My name is Richard Fox, and joining me, Kieran Black, a Tasmanian expert on whitewater paddling and co-commentator here. So what do you think, Kieran, about this course? 23 gates and quite tight racing so far.
Yeah, it's a fantastic course that's been set. I obviously got a chance to paddle this course last night, and it was pretty good to get a feel for what the competitors are going to be going through today. Some of the key moves that you're going to have to look out for are actually gate 2 to 3. That's really quite a tight move. The downstream gate 2 into the upstream gate 3 is on quite a tricky hydraulic feature there on the course here at Penrith Whitewater Stadium. So that one has already claimed a few scalps this morning in the semi-finals. Further down the course, you're looking at another technical move from gate 7, 8, 9 and 10. There's a really tight offset on the downstream gates underneath the bridge there on the Sweet Lips feature here. So that one also one to look out for. Then of course moving down the course we have the main wave feature, so an upstream gate on the river left eddy on that feature, and then crossing across the wave to downstream gate 14. So that is another one that's going to provide some challenges for competitors. The midsection of the course obviously is where a lot of time is won and lost, and we saw that in the semi-finals. Some athletes getting a little bit too tight on the poles with the stagger from gate 15 to 16 and 17. So that one also providing a challenge for some of the athletes. And then of course the final upstream right on that hole at first step really providing a challenge, and a lot of time being won and lost there as well. So an exciting course for the athletes today, and I look forward to seeing the men's C1 final racing on that one this afternoon.
And absolutely a fine course and a great racing prospect. Matija Marinic from Croatia will be the first to start. So he was the 10th man in the semi-final and last to qualify. He'll be followed by Václav Chalupka of Czech Republic, Marko Migorodski from Slovakia, and a former under-23 world champion. And following him, compatriot Matej Benuš, the Rio Olympic silver medalist and former winner here at the Australian Open, also Slovakian. Matthias Lota, 5th to start from the Czech, one of 3 Czechs in this final. And then Daniel Watkins, the fiery Tasmanian, great, exciting paddler to watch, very strong, very powerful. Got off to a shaky start in his semi-final, but really drove through that final section of the course to earn his place in the final. He's the lone Australian representative. Then it's Roberto Colazingari of Italy, Benjamin Savsek, the 2017 world champion from Slovenia, a great semi-final run we saw from him, and Cédric Joly from France, the current world champion. And rounding out the field, and the 10th man to go, Lukas Rowan. He won the heats, he won the semi. Can he win the final? So not long to go now. And what are your thoughts, Kieran, on those semi-final runs?
Yeah, I think it'll be very interesting to see what the athletes can put down here. Obviously exciting to see Daniel Watkins there, the sole Australian in this field, and he's really keen, quite a likely chance to be representing Australia at the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo. So he's one of our big Australian hopes in this field. But obviously some of the other athletes to watch, we've got the current world champion Cédric Joly of France, and the 2017 world champion Benjamin Savsek of Slovenia. So Savsek obviously put down a super fast run in the heats, I think 2nd fastest. And the other athlete to watch today would be Lukas Rohan, fastest in the semi-final, fastest in the heats, and definitely the form athlete here at the 2020 Australian Open of Canoe Slalom. So a stacked field here for you today in the men's C1 final. And obviously don't discount Matej Benuš, having won this event multiple times and a silver medalist in Rio de Janeiro, I believe. So high quality field here in the men's canoe final. Look forward to that one getting underway with Matija Marinic of Croatia starting us off very shortly.
And 14.8 tons of white water flowing down this course per second. and pumped from the bottom lake up to the top as bib number 18, Matija Marinic, waits for the signal to move to the start. The big Croatian. He's been training here like so many of these athletes. Their migration from the cold northern hemisphere down here to the warmer climates, although it doesn't feel that warm today. A little Tasmanian perhaps, but we're grateful as they are for the warm weather and good training conditions. 20 years on since the Sydney Olympics, and this venue still going strong, looking great with the green grass. A little parched a few weeks ago. We had the bushfires, we had the floods, the lake quite high, but the course surviving through all of that and looking good. So we wait for the start to line up. And yes, talking through that field a little bit further, one of the things we noticed with the C1 boats, they're kneeling, they use a single-bladed paddle, and you'll see different techniques. So there's the right-handed paddlers, the left-handed paddlers, and the switchers. And amongst the switchers, Daniel Watkins, quite an exciting paddler to watch because he throws the paddle around just like his boat, very dynamic style. And one of the things I've noticed, Lucas Rohan has switched more than before. Is that why he's crept up the start, up the finish list? So we'll find out as we watch whether Lucas Rohan can maintain his lead in this competition. And we join the starter, and Matija Marinic from Croatia will be the first boat to go in just a few seconds.
Yeah, it's interesting you should mention that technique of switching. Obviously pioneered in the women's C1 category, but now we see a lot of the guys such as Daniel Watkins, Martin Thomas, Lucas Rohan, to name a few, who are now employing that switching technique, and it really allows the athletes to really get the advantage on all sides of the boat, especially in those upstream gates.
And here we go, the men's C1 final underway. Bib number 18 from Croatia, and a good start for Matija Marinic in and out of gate 3 under the watchful eye of the judges in the red and white of Croatia. So our first boat on the course in this men's C1 final.
Yeah, fantastic start there for Matija Marinic of Croatia. We see him again going direct on gate 8, the only athlete in the semi-final to do that. And it seems to have paid off for him here, although taking the spin on gate 9. So maybe a costly option for the big Croatian here, but crucially a clean start to his run for Matija Marinic of Croatia. He's looking now down towards that gate 13 upstream on the left at the main wave feature, coming in nice and high on the onside. And he'll skip out across the wave, flicking that boat downstream towards the open section at gate 15.
So 39.92 the split on the top, that's the marker, and the reference point for the field. A penalty on gate 14 as he flicked his boat around, so something to carry through to the finish, but Marinic gets this final underway.
Marinic with a very classy spin there on that 16-17 stagger, and good speed through the section at jacks, so looking really nice on the back half of the course here for Matija Marinic of Croatia.
And the second marker, 75.47. We use those split times to measure the progress. Marinic comes out of the last upstream gate and through to the finish, trying to stay dry, keeping the boat speed on. Under 100 is good, and does he do it? Yes, 99.73 is the first score on the board in this men's C1 final.
Yeah, fantastic start for the Croatian there, Matija Marinic, posting a good time to set the benchmark for the remaining athletes in this final.
Well, he did a 99.80 in the semi-final, so 99.73, slightly ahead as Vaclav Chalupka from the Czech, the first of 3 Czechs. Struggles a little bit on the back of the wave, but cleanly in and out of 3, and so the race now well underway as Chalupka challenges the lead held by Marinic.
Yeah, very nice top section there from Vaclav Chalupka of the Czech Republic. He's going for the spin on gate 8, so in stark contrast to the flashy moves of Matija Marinic of Croatia. But the advantage here for Chalupka, coming in nice and high into gate 10 and then turning that boat of his downstream towards the gate 11-12 manoeuvre. So a good stagger here on the middle part of the course for the athletes here at Penrith Whitewater Stadium. So Chalupka now coming in on the crossbow to gate 13, and he'll skip out across the wave to 14, turning that boat downstream and into the tumultuous Whitewater below main wave.
That's a good start for Chalupka, 39.63. He's up on the Croatian.
So it looks like the spin under the bridge may have been a slightly faster option for the big Czech paddler Vaclav Chalupka. Going direct this time on 16 and 17, so really pulling out the moves here in the final for us here at Penrith Whitewater Stadium. Vaclav Chalupka of the Czech Republic on course, coming down now towards gate 20, and good speed across the back straight there for the Czech paddler.
One of the younger paddlers in this field. There are 3 athletes in the under 23 category, but Chalupka drops low into the final upstream, has to work his way up. 2-3 seconds lost for the Czech. Now the fight to the finish, 99.73 the time to beat. He just gets there, 98.95, and Vaclav Chalupka takes the lead.
Times already tumbling here at the top of the table in the men's C1 final. I remember the benchmark in the semi-final was around that 98-99 second mark, so the standard are very similar at this stage in the final.
Marko Migorodski from Slovakia, another young paddler, and away starting his run, a left-handed paddler, holds his line, beautiful flat boat, glides in and out of gate 3, working on the crossbow again into 5 and 6. So Migorodski away well in the black boat.
So a very composed start from the Slovakian paddler there, Marko Migodovski. Another athlete going for the spin there, this time on the offside. So Migodovski going for the double spin here on the move under the bridge there. So that will be a little bit more costly on the score sheet for the Slovakian. So hopefully he can pull back some of that time further down the course. Making his way down towards the gate 13. He paddles on the left-hand side, similar to Marinic of Croatia. So a bit more advantage on the bottom half of the course for Migodovski.
Well, no time lost on that double spin. He's very smooth, Migorodski. He's 0.4 of a second up on the first split time, so he's up on Chalupka.
It's fantastic to see that Migodovski has made the double spin work on the timesheets, and another fantastic spin there on gate 16 and 17 as we see him accelerating, trying to get his nose up on top of the stopper there at Jacks. The left-hand paddlers have got a slight advantage here, the way that water arcs through those gates. So good speed for Migodovski there.
And he's still up 0.8 of a second, Migorodski, and in high to the last upstream. So we are looking at the new leader. If he can get out and away through to the finish, Marko Migorodski will be followed by Matej Benuš. But into the lead goes Slovakia, 98.31 for Marko Migorodski. And he's 0.6 of a second up of Vaclav Chalupka from the Czech Republic. Great smooth paddling from the young Slovakian.
Yeah, very nice run there from Migodovski. His teammate now, Matej Benuš, following him down. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do.
And Matej Benuš, big Benuš, silver medalist in the Rio 2016 Olympic Games. If you get a close look at his paddling, you can see the strength and the power of this big man from Slovakia, but he comes out a little too tight from gate 3. An early error from the big man, but powering his way down, a former winner of this Australian Open competition, and brings his family out here many years in a row. And here's the spin on gate 8 from Matej Benuš.
Very stylish start to his run for Matej Benuš. He's also the highest ranked paddler in this final, wearing the number 3 bib. Obviously number 1 and 2 weren't successful in making the final here this afternoon, but Benuš looking very good on the top section so far. Long rangey athlete and really using his strength to pull himself around the gates there. On the crossbow through gate 13 and flicking himself across the wave to 14. It's a good top section from the Olympic silver medalist.
Well, Benuš having to chase hard, 1.8 seconds down on the split time set by Marko Migorodski. So through the middle, Benuš will have to drive his boat, keep the boat speed on, and make up the time through to the bottom section.
Really classy move there on 16 and 17 for Benuš. I see him copped a little bit of the hit from the hole there on the jack stopper, so maybe he's going to cost him a little bit of boat speed, but he's also one of the strongest athletes out there on the circuit at the moment, so he should be able to pull back some of that time in the final couple of moves.
And he's dropped a little low in the last up, but he's a big man, a strong man, and watch him go through to the finish. He did eat back into that deficit. Here's the power, here's the stroke, the length and the drive to the finish, but not enough. Matej Benuš, 99.87, goes 4th. So For Slovakia, Marko Migorodsky leads 98.31. In second, Vaclav Chalupka with a 98.95. And third, Matija Marinic of Croatia. So Benush, a penalty at the top and a hit through the middle on the wave. And now Bib, 15 on the top of the course. Matthias Lota, the second of the three Czechs. Good start from Lota.
Yeah, Matthias Lota, one of the three under-23 paddlers in this final, of course. One of the most exciting paddlers to come out of the Czech Republic in recent times. We'll see him go for the spin here on gate 8 towards gate 9. He'll do that one direct on the right-hand side of his boat and jumping in nice and high into gate 10. So very tidy so far for the young Czech paddler. Matthias Lota really looking good on this start of the middle section. We'll see him come now down into the main wave. He'll jump in on his right and then switch across to the crossbow and sneak in under the poles there at gate 13. So fantastic stuff there from the Czech paddler, Matthias Lota.
Lota is in touch. He's up on the splits on the first part of the course. 0.8 up, 98.31, the time that is leading. We're waiting for the scoreboard to come alight. 96 is the time that was set from the semi-final, so we can expect the seconds to come off. And Lota on his way, completing a good run. Next to go from Australia, Daniel Watkins.
Yeah, so for Matthias Lota there, a couple of issues on the spin at gate 16 may have cost him a little bit of that deficit. Not the ideal line through that stagger there for the Czech paddler, so hopefully he's able to recover that further down the course.
So Lota now out of the last upstream, chasing for the finish. 92 through the last gate, and the race on. 98.31, the time to beat. Does Lota make it? Yes, he does. 97.84 for the Czech Republic and Matthias Lota, and the new leader.
Yeah, so up next in the start pool, obviously the Australian Daniel Watkins. You can see the crowd really starting to get behind him. We've got going to have a big cheer squad running down the course for the sole Australian representative in this final here this morning. So Daniel Watkins starting off.
Well, Watkins liberated perhaps by the knowledge that what he's done so far puts him in good stead for a ticket to Tokyo. Watkins through gate 1, 2 and 3, now 5 and 6, powering away. Watch him switch to the left. There he goes, onto the left side, into gate 7 and sets himself up for the spin.
Fantastic start for the strong Tasmanian Daniel Watkins, flinging his boat around under the poles at gate 9, and a really solid start. He had some issues on the top section in his first run. Looks like he's rectified that here in his final run, so awesome start for Daniel Watkins. Really buoyed by his success in the semi-final and looking to capitalise on that one here today in the final. And a fantastic upstream on the left at gate 13. He'll flick across the wave to 14 and switch onto his right-hand side for gate 15.
That was a good tight line through 14 for Watkins. He took a penalty on gate 3, 1.5 the time behind at the first split, but in the semi-final he really charged the second part of the course. That's what he's doing now. Watkins on a roll.
Clinical precision there for Watkins on gate 15, 16 and 17. So on a roll in the second part of the course. The Australian cheer squad really getting behind him there, as you can see, lining the banks. Daniel Watkins, one of the most popular paddlers here at the Australian Open, so fantastic to see him in the final, coming in maybe a little bit high into that final upstream, but he's got the power to deliver on the finish. So everyone here getting behind Daniel Watkins as we follow him through to the finish. The great Tasmanian hope here. As the clock ticks by, we'll see what time he can deliver. Stopping the clock with a 98, so not quite enough for the lead there.
Second place for Watkins, 98.20, the 2-second penalty on gate 3, the difference. 0.36 behind Matthias Lota. A good, powerful effort from Daniel Watkins. Next to go is Roberto Colazingari from Italy. And we are now halfway through the field. Bib number 8, Colazingari, paddling in the colours of the Azzurri. Here he is surfing in, fighting in a little bit low to gate 3, but no penalty on the first 3 gates for the Italian.
Yeah, so potentially dropping a little bit there, low there on gate 3 for Colazingari. One of the strongest paddlers around here, though. The big Italian should be able to pull back some of that deficit further down the course. An excellent up left on gate 7, and the crossbow spin to crossbow direct. So a difficult move for the Italian here under the bridge, but he seems to have made it work pretty well, and a good exit out of gate 10 will serve him well further down the course. So Roberto Colazingari of Italy, paddler number 8, on course as we speak. He's about to jump in on the left-hand side into gate 13, putting the bow under the poles and wrapping out nice and tight towards gate 14. So a good start for Colazzingari.
Roberto Colazzingari, 1.3 down on the top section, so there's time to make up, but space to do it. And Colazzingari followed by Benjamin Savsek from Slovenia, Cedric Joly, France, Lukáš Rohan still to go. So the race very much in the making. 97.84 the time to beat. The second split coming up soon for Colazzingari as he powers across the flat section. He's back in touch, closer in touch. 0.14 down for the Italian.
As the Italian Roberto Colazzingari drops into that final upstream, he's on the left-hand side, which is a good advantage in that final upstream of gate 22, powering on towards the finish now. Be interesting to see what the clock says. I think he might just be off the lead pace, but a good run from Colazzingari.
98.70, fourth place for Italy, and Roberto Colazzingari, 98.70. It's tight at the top. The first four boats within 0.8 of a second. And now we turn to the start pool, and the Slovenian, the 2017 world champion, wearing bib number 4, Benjamin Savsek.
Yeah, obviously Benjamin Savsek set the course alight in the heats. It'll be interesting to see if he can do that one again here in the final.
Well, Savsek fell off the back of the wave from 2 to 3, cost him a little bit of time, but he's into his run with a clean sheet, and now getting the momentum going. This section critical, tight in and around the poles on the upstream, close to the inside of the spin on gate 8, and now neatly, good skill from the Slovenian.
Yeah, Benjamin Savsek of Slovenia, characteristically a very aggressive paddler, so it'll be interesting to see if he maintains that level of intensity the whole way down the course, but it has been a good top section. Maybe a few issues early on, but he seems to have rectified that in the middle, coming in very high into gate 13, the entire boat above the gate. Fantastic stuff on the exit of 13 to get out into the fast water.
Well, Savsek 0.6 down at the top, fairly measured. We saw a little time loss, gates 2 to 3, but working his way through the middle. It's fairly conservative overall in the field, so still room for a leader to come in there. 97.84 from low to lead. Still Joly and Rohan to come. Rohan, the winner of the heats, the winner of the semi-final, and Cedric Joly, the current world champion. So here Savsek needs a good final upstream. I think he gets it. He's 1.9 up now, and just the sprint to come for the Slovenian. And a good strong finish, puts his boat on edge, driving hard and through in 94, 95, 94, 96, and well in front. What a strong finish for Savsek of Slovenia, and he throws down the challenge.
Yeah, fantastic there from Savsek in the middle section, really utilising the power on the upstream side. Those left paddlers do have a slight advantage on that gate 16-17 manoeuvre, and he really made it work on that final upstream as well, coming in high, using that upstream blade to really pull himself up the gate.
And now, from France, the world champion, Cedric Joly, beautifully done through gate 3, very tight around the poles. In the bleu, blanc, rouge of La France, here he comes, Cedric Joly, bib number 6. So Savsek assured of a podium. Question is, what colour medal will he take away as Joly tidily through the spin, very high with the bow, but under the pole. Good work from France.
Very good start from the current world champion, Cedric Joly of France. Very smooth style, quite different to that style you saw of Benjamin Savsek just beforehand. But he had a faster time than Savsek in the heat, so if he can deliver here, he's still in with a chance of a medal. Cedric Joly on the crossbow across the wave and looking really smart into the fast whitewater there.
And France is in front, 0.3 of a second. It's not a lot. Savsek had a fast finish, so Joly will have to work through the middle section. He's a righty, Savsek's a lefty. Does it make a difference?
Yeah, so a very smooth start, really paying off for Cedric Joly here of France. Really allow him to jump hard over the hole at Jack's stopper here and try not to get too much boat speed killed by the tumultuous whitewater there. But charging across the back straight now, Cedric Joly of France, chasing that time of Benjamin Savsek of Slovenia.
And a 0.99 as a deficit at the second split, but the most important thing there, a low upstream. He had to fight into the eddy, and now it's not about the lead, but it's about something for Cedric Joly. He slipped away, 98, 99, and Joly will be outside of the lead, and he goes a ninth, a 99.90. He's 4.9 off the lead. Savsek leads 94.96. Lota second, and Daniel Watkins in third, with the challenge from the last man on the course. Unbeaten so far here at the Australian Open. In the heats, in the semi, bib number 12, Lukas Rohan from Prague in the Czech Republic.
Yeah, so a very aggressive start there from Lukas Rohan. Obviously, the winner of the heats, the winner of the semi-finals, definitely the form athlete here at Penrith Whitewater Stadium this weekend. So a very nice start from the Czech paddler there.
And the thing that's new about Rohan is the number of switches. And he's on his third switch so far. Here he goes onto his right side, changing hands with his paddle, now driving in. The first split will be telling. Savsek 94.96 was steady at the start. He built his run through the middle and he had a very strong finish.
Yeah, fantastic to see athletes like Lukas Rohan switching on to both sides. Really allows these athletes to get extra power on the upstream side of the boat and control, especially on the entry to those upstream gates. Really, they're switching as that's where it's helpful for them.
And a 0.98 adrift on the first split, Lukas Rohan. So Savsek with an advantage. Rohan having to move it through the middle section, the drop we know as jacks, and the flat section.
Lukas Rohan getting a little bit out of shape on the spin move at 16. So Lukas Rohan versus Daniel Watkins for the final medal position here at the Australian Open. Rohan dropping into that final upstream on the left-hand side and really fighting to get into the eddy there. He'll wrap out nice and tight on the exit and power on towards home.
Here he comes, Lukas Rohan, and he's over, or is he? No, he's back up, but that error just before the line cost him, and he finishes in 99.96, and that means that Watkins gets third, Lota gets second, and Benjamin Savsek from Slovenia takes out the Australian Open C1 men category with that great run. 94.96, 2.8 seconds up on the Czech Matthias Lota in second. Watkins third, 98.2, and he had a penalty in that score. So great paddling from Watkins, looking for his ticket to Tokyo, and it's almost in his hand with that performance. Marko Migorodski, Slovakia, fourth, and Roberto Kolesingari fifth from Italy with 98.7. Václav Čelupka, from Czech Republic in sixth. Matija Marinic, Croatia, seventh. Matej Benuš, Slovakia, eighth. Cedric Joly, the world champ, in the ninth. And Lukas Rohan looked promising, but slipped over as he raced for the line. 99.96, 5 seconds adrift, and in 10th position. So well done. Congratulations to Savsek, Lota, and the Australian Daniel Watkins for a great final.
So up next in 2 minutes' time, we begin with the women's kayak single final. Starting us off in that will be Aki Yazawa of Japan, following her Martina Wegman of the Netherlands. Then Eliska Mintalova of Slovakia, Jana Dukotova of Slovakia, Kate Eckard of Australia, Camille Prigent of France, Katarina Kuryova of the Czech Republic, Elena Appel of Germany, Jessica Fox of Australia, and Ricarda Funk of Germany, rounding out your top 10 who've qualified for the women's kayak final. That'll be getting underway in just 2 minutes' time. So don't go anywhere. Your women's kayak final up next.
And two Slovakians, two Germans in this final. Japan, Netherlands, Australia, two Australians. So very international. We had 25 countries here competing at the Australian Open, and great presence of international athletes training here 3 to 4 weeks, sometimes 2 to 3 months. So contributing to the local economy and raising the standard of paddling around the world. Great conditions for training at Penrith Whitewater Stadium. Warm water, warm weather, and long daylight hours. The water on at 6:30, going off almost at dusk, just before 8 o'clock. So Aki Yazawa, great to see Japan in this Olympic year with the Tokyo Games just 5 months away. And Aki Yazawa, she had a great semi-final run, very fast, but picked up a couple of penalties. And here she leaves the start wearing bib number 18. The women's K1 final now underway with Aki Yazawa coming through gate 1, draw stroke, trying to get the angle on. The boat nice and light across the back of the waves, high tempo. It's a very finely cut boat on the bow. As Yaki Azawa now comes through to the bridge section under the poles. Good draw, good tight line on the inside.
Yeah, nicely done there on gate 7 from Aki Yazawa. Interesting, she had a slightly higher exit than some of the other athletes we've seen today. It means she had to float backwards a little bit more through gate 8, but now exiting gate 10, she's done that one really smoothly, so a characteristic smooth style of Aki Yazawa of Japan. She's also the lowest ranked paddler in this final at world rank number 41, so awesome to see her making a final here at the Australian Open as she jumps out across the wave to gate 14. It's been a very good top section so far from Aki Yazawa. Clean under the poles at gate 14 too, which is crucial.
Well, the judges saw a penalty on gate 9, so that's added to a score 44-56, the marker, the top split, and a penalty. She had penalties in the semi-final, but what can she do through the middle? The second split will be a further marker. She'll be followed, Yazawa, by Martina Wegman of the Netherlands and then Eliska Mintilova of Slovakia. But here through 92-16 and another penalty on 15 for Yazawa of Japan.
Yeah, so unfortunately it all going wrong in the middle section for Yazawa of Japan. A couple of issues on the spin of 16. She had to spend quite a lot of time recovering that one. So now coming into that final upstream on the left-hand side of the river, she'll power down towards the finish. But this one won't contend for the medals. Unfortunately, Aki Yazawa, they're having to paddle back for a gate in the middle section.
1:17, the final score, all rounded out with 4 seconds of penalties. So Yazawa plays her hand as number 10 from the Netherlands, Martina Wegman. Takes on the wave at gate 2 to 3. She bounces through nicely and away without difficulty. So good start for Martina. She knows this course well, been coming to train here for many years. She knows New Zealand well and the great course at Werrow in Auckland.
Very smooth start there for Martina Wegman of the Netherlands. Coming in nice and tight under the poles at gate 8. Maybe some issues there, we'll see what the judges say. But very tight into gate 10, so she'll get a good exit out across the wave towards gate 11. So a nice start from the Dutch paddler. Maybe her tail getting a little bit caught on the feature there before gate 11, but re-accelerating her boat into the main wave feature. So you'll see her jump off that right-hand blade and then land on the left-hand side, coming into that up left at gate 13. Very nicely done there by Martina Wegman of the Netherlands. So a good start.
And yes, and that's reflected with her advantage, 1.36 on the top split for Martina Wegman. Going well for the Netherlands. And in fact, there were 2 athletes from the Netherlands, and she's the one through to the final, and a former finalist in the World Cups too. So Wegman now chasing down the time, and she's up by a considerable margin, 82.25 on the second split. That's a 9-second advantage on the time set by Aki Yazawa of Japan.
Yeah, so much tidier on the middle section there for Martina Wegman. Unfortunately, dropping slightly low on the final upstream gate there, so that will be costly. Athletes to come will be much tighter on the exit of that gate. So we see Martina Wegman coming down towards the finish. This will undercut that time of Aki Yazawa by quite some margin. A 1:07.36 goes into first place.
So Wegman from the Netherlands leads 1:07.36. Yazawa Japan in second, next to go. Eliska Mintalova, the young Slovakian. She's in the under-23 category. And here she flies through gate 1. Good dry lines. Nothing holding her back. A little check on the back of the blade gives her the high line and the fast exit. Good exit from number 8, Eliska Mintalova.
Yeah, Eliska Mintalova, a very exciting paddler to watch. We saw her come out of the blocks very hard in the semi-finals, but a couple of penalties pushed her further down the pack. But now starting off as the third boat in this ladies kayak final, she'll have another good crack at it. A bit cleaner on the top section than her semi-final so far, so a good start for the Slovakian Eliska Mintalova. nice and tight through the upstream of gate 10, but coming quite far up the river out of that gate, so maybe costing herself a little bit of time on the stopwatch there coming out of gate 10. But as she jumps into gate 13, we'll see her put her bow below the pole, so an interesting tactic there. That gives her a bit more boat speed up the eddy, but is a slightly longer line. So Iliska Mintalova there of Slovakia.
Well, the virtual leader is on the course. Iliska Mintalova, 2.7 seconds up at the top and going strongly through the middle section.
Yeah, it looks like that aggressive start of Iliska Mintalova has really paid off. Really nice spin there on gate 16, going very close to the poles. And she'll duck under that one and head towards the jacks move. Getting some good power over the stopper there and back on the gas towards gate 20-21 move.
And here she comes, 3.8 seconds up now, 107.36 the target. Needs the good upstream and she gets it. Just fighting her way back up and away. Perhaps not quite as good, in fact, as she would have liked, but a good charge for the line now, keeping the aggression. 107 the time to beat. She's well inside. 102, 103.63 for Iliska Mintalova of Slovakia, our new leader.
Yeah, fantastic stuff there from the Slovakian paddler, already up on her position from the semi-final at the top of the course. Jana Dukatova, one of the legends of the sport, also representing Slovakia, starting her run.
Well, a handy run from Mintalova, but we were under the 100 in the semi-final, and that time short a tumble, and one athlete who can do it is number 12, Jana Dukatova. A lot of experience, and back at the top after a season out, a little tight on 8, but good line through 9, so having to chase hard now. Jana Dukatova from Slovakia.
Very composed start there from Jana Dukatova. Potentially some issues on the pole at gate 8, but awesome to see Jana Dukatova back racing here at the 2020 Australian Open. Nice and high, the bow above the poles there. Gate 13, it allows her to get a very tight exit across the wave. So a nice start to the middle section for Dukatova.
Penalty for Mintalova has come up, so 105.63 her score, so that was on gate 21. So the judges are determining a penalty there as Jana Dukatova comes through to the second split marker. She's 4.5 seconds down on Mintalova, her teammate. 105.63 the time to beat, but Mintalova was a little low in the last up. Dukatova comes in, she's stuck but high and fights away on the back of the boat and off to the finish. Next to go in the start pool from Australia, Kate Eckhart is waiting. Jana Dukatova, 105.63, slips away, and she goes into third position with 108.92. So Slovakia, Netherlands, Slovakia. And here comes Kate Eckhart from Tasmania in Australia, and one of 2 Australians in this women's final.
Yeah, fantastic to see Kate Eckhart making another final here this weekend. So on form at the moment after a good weekend at the Oceania Championships a few weeks ago. Kate Eckhart of Tasmania and Australia now on the water at this weekend's Australian Open. A very nice start for Kate. Spends a lot of time paddling at the Brady's Lake Canoe Slalom course, so not afraid of big Whitewater is Kate Eckhart. A nice spin under the pole at gate 8 and onwards towards gate 9, doing that move direct, which is awesome to see. Now Kate jumping awesomely high into gate 10 and she'll sneak out on the exit there, turning her boat downstream around the wave at gate 11, although getting a little bit hung up there, so not the ideal move on that gate for Kate Eckhart, but she's a very powerful paddler, very light, so she can accelerate that boat super fast, and the bow upstream of the pole on gate 13, so fantastic to see there, getting a nice clean exit over the wave towards 14.
Well, let's cheer Kate Eckhart on through this middle section. She needs your help if you're on the inside and following. Half a second adrift through the first section on the split with a penalty. The second time will tell us, but 105.63 the lead, that's achievable. Kate, the 5th boat down, 5 to come. Camille Prigent, Katerina Kudiova next to go as this women's final takes shape. 4 seconds the gap though behind Mintalova for Kate Eckhart.
Of course, Kate Eckhart thrives on the technical paddling that we see here on the back half of the course. So hopefully she can really use her fitness and strengths to whip around that final upstream and power on towards a finish. The crowd really getting behind Kate Eckhart here, one of 2 Australian hopes in this final. So if we see Kate Eckhart charging down towards a finish, it will be outside that winning time.
And a 108.76 for Kate. That puts her into 4th position ahead of Yazawa and just behind Dukatova. So the podium at this stage: Mintalova, Slovakia; Wegman, Netherlands; and Dukatova, Slovakia. But everything up for grabs as Camille Prigent from France, bib number 3, pushes in and out of gate 3. Good line, fast start for the French athlete. And now trying to get into the rhythm of her run. Lifts that stroke rate, sprints down to gate 7 and goes to sweep. A tight exit, finds the wave. They watched the video, they've learned from watching others and reviewing their own runs. And here comes Camille Prigent into gate 10.
Yeah, really aggressive and good looking start from Camille Prigent. This one should be pretty good on that first split, I'd imagine, looking very fast through this top section. We'll see her now jump into the upstream of gate 13. She'll be putting her bow around the poles this time, so a bit more of a conservative approach to this gate. That'll give her a much better exit onto the wave towards gate 14. So a good start from Camille Prigent of France.
And she has edged in front on the first part of the course, 1.1 seconds up on the time set by Mintalova, but 105, a target that is well within her reach. Needs to keep it clean, keep the boat flowing through the middle and nail the final upstream. But Camille Prigent on her way and challenging for the lead in the final, the women's K1 final. Still to come, Kudryova from Czech, Apple from Germany, Fox from Australia and Funk from Germany.
It looks like that really aggressive style of Camille Prigent of France has really paid off, especially on that top section, getting her just ahead of the rest of the pack. If she can keep that up down the back straight, she will be a contender for the top time. The stopwatch is looking favourable, 101, 102. She'll stop the clock with 103.71, the new fastest time so far today in the women's final.
Well, great paddling from Camille Prigent, clean sheet, 103.71, 1.92 ahead of Mintalova, Eliska Mintalova of Slovakia, who's in second. And now on the course, the 2015 world champion from the Czech Republic, Kateřina Kudryova, and she checks her boat and holds her line and just makes sure of that approach into gate 3. A little caution at the top, but she's clean and now getting into that rhythm, and no mistakes so far for Kateřina Kudryova. Smooth up, fighting. She's going to lift the intensity once she gets out of gate 9. If she can flick the boat around. Now puts on a charge, drives in hard for gate 10.
Yeah, Kudryova, of course, held the top spot in the semi-final for a number of minutes there earlier this morning, and her top section was especially good in that run. That was where she really made her case for a final position. It'll be interesting to see whether this top split is as competitive as her one earlier this morning. A nice line around gate 13. She'll flick across towards gate 14. I'll be interested to know what her top split is like. Oh, and she's come in a little bit on gate 14, so not the ideal start to the middle section there.
Well, she stayed upright but fell on her paddle all the same. That would have cost her around a second. She was 2 down on the top. Kudryova needs to put on a charge, but that's within her capabilities, no doubt, especially once she gets through the stagger sequence and through the drop at jacks and then into the open fast water and the approach to the final section. She's 4 seconds down on Camille Prigent.
Yeah, some issues there around that gate 16-17 move, really costing the 2015 world champion here, Kateřina Kudryova of Czech Republic. So just fighting on towards the finish now in that final upstream. She'll look to get a nice tight exit and wrap out towards gate 23 there and get some good speed on the boat towards the finish.
Well, 103.71 for Prigent leads. She won't beat that. And Kateřina Kudryova, 108.29 into 4th position. So Prigent holding on to her lead. Mintalova holding on to 2nd, and Wegman still in 3rd for the Netherlands. And here comes the first of the 2 Germans. And this is Elena Apple working her way back up for 3. Took a little bit of a hit. The boat buried in the stopper, so she has to chase hard now. Elena Apple from Augsburg in Germany in the under-23 category. At the Australian Open, we award prizes for the juniors. the under-23s and the open age groups. So everything to chase for Elena Apple, and that prize giving will take place after these finals at 1:10 p.m. So Apple on her way through to main wave.
Yeah, not quite the ideal start for Elena Apple of Germany, obviously dropping a little bit low into gate 3 and again a little bit low into gate 10. She seems to have rectified that slightly with a much better upstream on gate 13 and powering down through the fast water towards gate 15. So a shaky start for the German athlete. Hopefully she can make up a little bit more time further down the course.
That's right, a second to drift for penalty on 9 for Elena, but a good fast paddling. She's improving so much. She's paddling the canoe as well. We'll see her tomorrow in the semi-finals of the women's C1. And Elena Apple now through the second split time, plus 3.91. So Camille Prigent looking safe for a podium, as in the start pool, Ricarda Funk and Jess Fox line up for their finale. Here comes Apple through to the finish, charging down. 103.71 outside her reach, but a strong comeback all the same from the German. 105.44 sees her go second, and the penalty, the difference, 1.73 the gap behind Camille Prigent, France, the leader. Elena Apple second, 105.44, and Eliska Mintalova, Slovakia, 105.63.
Just starting her run now, of course, the great Jessica Fox, multiple world champion in both C1 and K1. Also many times a victor here at the Australian Open, so looking to set the course on fire here this afternoon. The hopes of Australia resting upon her shoulders at this event. We'll see her now coming down through gate 5 and 6. A very aggressive start for Fox of Australia. Looking fantastic on this top section. She'll duck under the poles at gate 7. Looking to do this spin on gate 8. Coming out nice and high and zipping under the poles there at gate 9. So fantastic start for Jess Fox, really showing her experience here on the Penrith Whitewater Stadium. Jess Fox obviously pre-selected for Australia to represent at the Olympic Games in Tokyo later on this year. So she's already paddling with confidence, not having to worry about the selections this year. As we see her coming tight under the poles at gate 13, this should be significantly up on that split time as we see her going close to the top of the leaderboard, I'd say.
3.2 the advantage on the split set by the leader, Camille Prigent.
Yeah, so a fantastic start for Jess Fox. Has got plenty of time to stop and have a coffee halfway down. She's that far ahead. Couple of issues maybe on gate 16, so maybe using some of that time she's got in hand. But as we see her accelerate across the hole at Jack's, she'll really try and keep the boat dry on that section and then motor across the flat water near the beach towards the finish. We can see Jess, obviously a very popular paddler here in Australia with a big support crew following her down. Into the final upstream she goes and onwards towards the finish. This time's going to be very competitive on the scoreboard as we see her head down towards the final gate. Just watching the clock now to see how this compares with the top time. And it will be a new race lead by some margin at 97.97 into first place for Jessica Fox of Australia. Well done.
But wait, there's more to come. Still, Ricarda Funk to go, 97.87 leads and 103.71 in second. A podium assured though for Camille Prigent, France, and Ricarda Funk now of Germany underway.
Yeah, so a much more composed start from Ricarda Funk this time, but another athlete getting a fantastic jump across the hole into gate 3. So this is still looking very competitive with that blistering pace set by Jess Fox just beforehand. So a good start from Ricarda Funk of Germany.
So in the semi-final, Funk had a 95.14 and she really flew down there. Jess 100.03 in the semi-final. A penalty it looks like on 7 for Funk. She has to carry that, but she has the speed.
Yeah, so a 2-second penalty early on in the course will be costly for Ricarda Funk, especially given that pace that Jess Fox has just set. Ricarda going around the poles at gate 13, so not cutting the line quite as much as Jess did. We'll be interested to see what the split time is on this first split. So
0.27, she is down very fast on 2 to 3. Ricarda Funk, the second split will be telling. 97.87 the lead, 103.71 for second. Ricarda Funk through now into the final stages of her run. She's very fast on the flat, plus 2.11. She'll need to chase hard into the final upstream and nail it.
So it looks like advantage Jessica Fox on this back half of the course as we see Ricarda Funk powering down towards the finish. All eyes on the clock now as we see what the German can deliver. World number 1 versus world number 3.
And Funk gets it. 97.84 for Ricarda Funk. Plays 97.87 for Jess Fox. And Camille Prigent, France, in third, 103.71. So 0.03. But another penalty has just sprung on gate 22. So in fact, it is Jess Fox playing Ricarda Funk. So Fox takes the win for Australia. Ricarda Funk for Germany in second. A penalty on 22, the last upstream added by the judges as Ricarda Funk finished off her run. So 99.84 her final score. Camille Prigent, bronze for France, 103.71. In fourth place, Elena Appel, 105.44 for Germany. Eliska Mintalova in the fifth, 105.63. Martina Wegman in sixth, 107.36. In seventh, Katerina Kudijova, 108.29. In eighth, Jana Dukatova from Slovakia, 108.92. The Australian Kate Eckhart in ninth, 110.76. And Aki Yazawa, Japan, 10th in this women's K1 final. And the winner for Australia, Jess Fox, 97.87. But what a great race between those two, and more to come during the 2020 season as we head towards Tokyo. And thank you